Hey, so I just made the what to do if you're feeling sad video. So here's some things that help me with anxiety. I will say though that I I haven't spoken that much about anxiety in therapy, so um, it's still something I struggle with a lot and don't kind of know what to deal with very well. But yeah, um, okay. First thing, um, light candles, deep breaths, and meditation. Um, I if I feel very kind of agitated and on edge, I'll light one of my scented candles. Um, at the minute, actually, I have lemon lavender on. It's very nice. Deep breaths, kind of try and talk myself down out of the panic. Meditate. I would kind of turn off the lights, have my candle on, just focus on my breathing and stuff. And I have the Tibetan raindrop song or something on my iTunes, so I kind of put that CD on and kind of focus on the music and kind of just like just do the whole like breathe in your the good things and like breathe out the crap. um Another thing I do, which is kind of very strange, is I stand on my toilet. I would put down the lid and I'd stand on it and kind of hang out my bathroom window at night. So if I'm having an anxiety attack, I will like open my window and kind of just take in the cold air and stuff, which is very helpful. So like you might want to stand on your toilet, but definitely get some fresh air. And like for me, being able to get fresh air at night kind of helps me more. Like if I was anxious during the day, I wouldn't necessarily go outside, but at night time I would. So um another thing is kind of like for me it's more a symptom of anxiety than something I do to like combat it, but I would jig my leg up and down a bit and or like, tap my fingers like that on something. It actually kind of makes me feel more anxious and like aware that I'm anxious, but it might help. Like it's obviously individual preference, so it might help you. Um I do though, in therapy I would like drum my fingers along the radiator like that on one time. I got up and started jumping up and down and flapping my arms like to get rid of. I just felt like really just agitated and like too much excess energy. So I jumped up and down and flapped my arms. My therapist actually got up and did it with me, which was very funny. But so yeah, kind of like moving, keeping busy. It might help, it might not. Face your anxiety. There's a thing called exposure therapy, which like works on this. I don't actually know that much about it, but basically it's kind of about facing your fears and like exposing yourself to the things that make you anxious. So I don't know, for me, well, like I think a lot of people kind of struggle with talking on the phone. um so if you're like, if that makes you anxious, challenge yourself to make a phone call, and go into a shop alone, um just kind of like face your fears and make yourself do them. Like it's gonna be horrible and it's gonna be shit, but if you keep kind of building up this fear around it, and if you keep telling yourself, oh god, I can't go into shop alone, I'll feel anxious, I'll feel this and that, I'll start sweating, I could have an anxiety attack, I might faint, I might throw up, blah blah blah. Like if you keep kind of building up this fear around it, it's not going to go away, and you're just going to kind of build up like a bigger mental block around it. So like some days I would, if I had to get the bus, I would build myself up and be like, oh god, I don't want to get this, I don't want to do this, can I not? I wish I didn't have to get the bus, I hate it, oh my god, I'm gonna feel so shit, I'm gonna feel like throwing up, I'm gonna feel like blah blah blah, just on and on and on, and overthinking it. And then, so obviously, then I do feel like that. And then there would be some days when I kind of wouldn't let myself think about it. And then, so those days, it's kind of, because I'm not building it up so much, it's easier to deal with. So that's definitely something you should try. Um, as well, there's a girl I follow on Tumblr, and she is fighting agoraphobia at the minute. I'll post a link to her Instagram because it's very good. Like, she kind of would take a picture of something and be like, today I did today like I got the plane by myself and I felt horrible and I cried over it, but I made myself, like, I did it, and so like now I feel great. And then so she's very inspiring. Like, I think she's great, and I really admire how she's like kind of actively trying to tackle her anxiety. So she's someone who's definitely, I think she is actually doing exposure therapy. So I'll post a link to her Instagram and stuff. Compartmentalize. Block things out. It's not exactly, I personally don't think it's like, kind of, I sort of think if you block things out, they're gonna come back at you in some other way. But in case, like, it does actually help sometimes if it's like I went to Switzerland at, I went to France at the start of in January, and I flew to Switzerland by myself. And so obviously the night before I felt terrible. I had a horrible, horrible anxiety attack. I was just flying things around the place. I was just so upset and nervous about the whole thing. But the day off it, I actually don't remember the flight or anything at all, or like going to the gate or anything. I was just kind of blocked it out, kind of wouldn't let myself think about it. Anytime the thought would come into my head, oh shit, I'm about to get on a plane by myself and fly to Switzerland by myself, I would kind of just push it out, wouldn't let it come into my head. And it actually went grand. Like, now I would kind of look back and be like, Jesus, I went to fucking Switzerland by myself. So yeah, kind of don't think about things, kind of push it away. Don't let yourself think about it if it's gonna just send you into like a complete meltdown. Another thing I would do is there was an episode of Friends, I think it's the one where Chandler gets married, and Ross is kind of like to him, he's like, just go home and take a shower. And then once he gets out of the shower, he's like, just put on your suit. And then once he puts on his suit, he's like, we'll get in the car and we'll go to the hotel. And so it kind of takes it step by step. So I did it a lot when I was doing my A levels and my GCSEs. I would kind of say to myself, right, just get up. And then once I'm up, I'd be like, right, just get washed, brush your teeth, do your face. And then I'd be like, right, put on your uniform, get in the car. I was taking it step by step. So then I kind of wasn't thinking about the bigger picture that I was about to sit an exam. I would kind of just be like, right, I'm just going to go into the assembly hall now. I'm just going to sit in my seat, going to write my name on the paper, going to just read the questions and then answer them. So I was kind of like just taking it in small steps, so I didn't have to, like, so I wasn't overwhelmed with the whole, like, the bigger concept and the bigger worry. So that definitely has helped me. And I would also say that look for things that you think might help you. Like, the only reason I learned to take things step by step was purely by that, from that episode of Friends. So like, do keep a lookout for things that you think might work for you or that might help you, and give them a try, because like, there's no one set way to get better or to beat anxiety or depression. So just kind of, if you notice something, and it doesn't matter how unusual or anything it is, but if you think it might work, give it a go, because there's nothing you can lose really from trying something different. Don't worry about what you can't control. That is honestly the best piece of advice I have ever been given. I'm a massive worrier. I catastrophize everything. So if you know, like, kind of, if you start to feel worried about something, kind of step back from it and say to yourself, is this something that's in my power to change? And if it's not, then just say to yourself, well, then there's nothing I can do about it. So I can't worry about it. There's nothing I can do. So it's kind of that serenity prayer thing as well. Like, Lord, help me remember the things that, recognize the things I cannot change, the things I can, and blah blah. Do you know that thing? So yeah, it's like that. if you can't do anything about it, it's not worth worrying about it or getting yourself stressed about, because it's beyond your control. So if you're thinking, like, if you're worrying about, I don't know, like, oh god, what if my granny falls down the stairs or something, um, just kind of sit back and say, well, if she does, I'm not going to be there to see it, so I won't be able to help her. So, and like the possibility of it happening anyway mightn't be that great. So, I can't worry about it. I can't kind of be detrimental to my health and get myself stressed out about something that really I can't physically be with her all the time to make sure she doesn't fall down the stairs. So it's kind of just trying to pick and choose what you worry about. um, Keep yourself distracted if you're doing something that makes you anxious. Um, I hate getting the bus. I hate being in public alone, like going into a shop by myself or something. So if I can, I get the bus with a friend, I go into town with a friend, I just make sure that I'm with someone if I'm doing something that will make me anxious. So then they're kind of keeping me distracted, so I'm not having to think about like how I'm feeling. So if it's social anxiety, do kind of find something that you can do while you're doing the thing that makes you anxious, so you're not having to think about it. So like, I don't know, maybe having your phone with you or a book with you, or something like that. So something that means you don't have to be thinking about it all the time while you're doing it, because that's obviously just going to keep building it up. Um, Remind yourself that people are probably more concerned with themselves than they are with you. So again, if I was walking through university and was like, everyone's looking at me, everyone's judging my outfit, judging my hair, am I walking funny, what am I supposed to do with my hands, like, do I play with my scarf, do I hold my bag, what if I'm just constantly worrying about everything I'm doing, I would kind of try and tell myself, well, you're think about, like, notice that I'm worrying about myself, so chances are everyone else is thinking the same things about themselves. So if you have a problem kind of with like self-consciousness and feeling that people are judging you or looking at you, kind of try and tell yourself that people are probably far more concerned with themselves than they are with what you're doing. um have a safe object. This is something that I always do. For the past maybe 4 or 5 years, I wear a scarf every day. Every time I leave the house, I wear a scarf. I got shouted at in school every day, pretty much every day. I used to wear like nice coloured scarves, so I got shouted at all the time for that. And then I bought the school scarf, and every teacher I had commented that I'd finally decided to follow the school rules and wear the school scarf. So for me, yeah, my scarf, it just helps me. I can kind of tuck it up like that, and it just makes me feel like there's something around my neck, so I can kind of, like, if I'm talking to someone, I'll like twirl it around my fingers like that, and like kind of, I don't know, it just make I can feel, if I feel like everyone's looking at me, I'll kind of like put it up like that. So if you have something that makes you feel comfortable, so it could be your phone, it could be a ring or a bracelet, just kind of find something that like you can wear or take with you that makes you feel less self-conscious and kind of reminds you of something safe or reminds you of home, or yeah, just something that will kind of act as like a bodyguard sort of. um Talk about it. Problem shared is a problem halved. It's very, very true. um and even writing about it as well, I would find that if I keep something in my head and I'm worrying about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, it's obviously, it sounds darker and scarier and a bigger deal in my head. But if I say to someone else, oh, I'm really worried about this, then I don't know, like, if saying it out loud, you kind of realize maybe how silly it sounds, like how, not silly, but like how it's kind of, it's not this big catastrophe, and it's definitely something that you can solve and kind of like can be solved. So talking about it, you can as well, that person can help give you advice about it or help kind of make you see how it's not kind of worth worrying about or something. So yeah, and as well writing about it as well, because basically once you get it on paper, you kind of start to realize you can kind of like discuss your feelings about it, and then it kind of calms you down, and you can kind of see as well, well, maybe this isn't kind of worth my time worrying about, because now that I've got it out and now that it's not trapped inside my head driving me crazy, I can see that it's not that big of a deal, sort of, that it like it's not going to be the end of the world if it happens. um Reward yourself if you do something you normally avoid. So if you make a phone call, go into a shop by yourself, get the bus, um basically if you challenge yourself, make sure you reward yourself for that challenge. So because you deserve to be treated, like you deserve to treat yourself for doing something that you find difficult. um Take note of when you do something and use it to build your confidence for the next time you feel anxious. So for me, the biggest thing has been going to university. Like I was not didn't think I was gonna be able to go just because I'm not well and stuff. But so I don't know. Anytime I don't know, if I'm feeling worried about something, I'll kind of like look back at the things I've done in the past and be able to say to myself, well, you've done this and you've done that and you got through this and you got through that. And I would kind of be able to build myself up sort of and say, well, like I've done it before so I can do it again, sort of thing. So if you do something and you're proud of yourself for doing it, do write it down, or do kind of like store it in the back of your head, so then the next time you're scared about doing something, or even if it's the same thing, you can kind of look back and say, well, I've done it before and it was fine and it worked out and I got through it, so I can definitely do it again. And you definitely can. So just kind of constantly keep trying to reassure yourself about it. Um and be harsh with yourself. um this obviously mightn't work for everyone. Like some people kind of prefer a more like gentle approach, but I'm kind of like, I need harsh truths. I need like I kind of like tell myself to wise up, catch yourself on, sort of thing. Um, I don't know. I would usually worry about things like before, during, and after they've happened. So if I'm worried about something after it's happened, like I might say to myself, what if I didn't get those 2 extra marks in that exam, and then I didn't get the grade I needed, and then I wouldn't be at university. I would kind of set myself, like, go in a big panic about something that hasn't happened and didn't happen, but I would kind of worry, what if it did happen? So I kind of try and catch myself and tell myself, we're gonna stop being so stupid. Like it's done, it didn't happen, so why are you kind of giving it the time of day? Um, I would be sort of harsh with myself. Just um, yeah, just kind of tell myself that it's a stupid thing to worry about. I can't control it. It's done. It's in the past. Just kind of trying to let the rational voice kind of speak over the anxious voice. So yeah, I didn't kind of explain that very well, but hopefully you get what I mean. So yeah, that's all I sort of have on that one. Yeah, if there's any other kind of videos you want me to make or anything, do message me, or yeah, just leave a comment or something and I will get to it. Okay.